It's going to take time, but the creative disruption of things like Bitcoin will slowly erode the monetary system as
Mm-hmm.
we know it. And
Yeah.
people will start to realize the value of decentralized finance.
Biggs and Boggs.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Your Future Hand with Biggs and Boggs. I'm Marty Boggs.
And I'm Julian Biggs.
Thank you very much for joining us today, folks. A little bit of a special episode as I am in Vancouver at BC Children's Hospital with my daughter. She had to undergo some emergency brain surgery. Believe it or not, absolutely crazy situation, but thanks to all the loving and prayers and thoughts and positive energy from the people out there, she is doing great. So I thank you all for that. I cannot thank you enough. I cannot express in words how grateful that me and my family are for all of that. So without further ado, let's get into it. What are we up to today, and how can we plan for tomorrow, Julian?
Today, we're catching up with Marty Boggs, obviously, who it looks like he's on his way home for some rest and hopefully not too much work. But yeah, we're going to catch up today. We're going to catch up on the markets. Things are going crazy. We're going to slide in a little market scope here. Yeah, we'll just get into it.
Markets go.
Market scope.
Just a brief look at the S&P 500. We did make the move through the 200-day EMA, but got that strong bounce we talked about after the news of Russia and Ukraine. We had that crash, and then things bounced hard with the recovery to the 200-day EMA. But as I've said, we do not want these EMAs to cross in a negative manner, so we don't want the 20 and the 50 coming through the 200 here because it could get messy just like it did for Bitcoin. So things I'm watching for, as you can see, it's bloody in the streets today. So yeah, things I'm watching for. Let's get over to the Bitcoin chart real quick. Bitcoin versus US dollar on the daily time frame. As you can see, there were big 15% cucumber fat yesterday, and we're now facing the rejection of 200-day EMA, or at least resistance. But this is what I'm watching for. If this is just similar to what's going on S&P right now, which does tend to have Bitcoin cancel the S&P in times very similar that chart does. If that's the case, then tomorrow could be. And we want to find support on this resistance line that we were facing before breaking out of that apex. So I'm watching for. We want a test of that. 15% was a lot. That was pretty extreme. So seeing some downward price action is not going to be. It's not going to be a surprise if we want to retest some of these lower areas again, around 40K. So, yeah, hopefully we stay above 40, but we'll get back at it in the conversation here.
You know what that means? Viagra stock is down.
Yeah, here we go.
Nobody needed
things
that
are
this
up.
morning.
Things are up. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. So, I mean, this week things are looking good. We had that really strong bullish close to the stock market on Friday at the end of the week last week. And we're obviously following that up with a little more support here and a 15% move on Bitcoin.
So market makers want to do what they want to do, and they're going to do what they have to do to get it where they want it to be. So you can speculate all day on how it got there, but we know it's where they want it to be. And let's just keep this in mind. In the past, March has always been an absolutely terrible month for crypto, for stocks, and for tons of things, because it has to do with taxes. Everybody sells shit off because of write-offs and all that sort of crap. So even though we are at we're up big today, and don't quite get overexcited just yet, because March could be slow, but we could be on the low. We could be declining slowly from here on out. Just speculation and of what's happened in the past. But for instance, March 2020 was the last big crash that we had. So let's keep that in mind. Don't get overexcited. Don't put your life savings in Bitcoin just yet. But keep an eye on it, because this is when we want to watch, right? This is what we want to.
Yeah, exactly. This is when we want to watch. We want to be aware of the money that is changing hands now. So, I mean, the things that were in the news last week that caused a bit of a dip and led people to think that it was going down again. You know what I mean? And then some money changes hands, certain markets dip, and then we see this giant move for Bitcoin again, right? So, I can only speculate on what that is, but like I said, what I'm saying is that we're seeing the money change hands. We are seeing the whales play around in this market and start to scoop up more of the Bitcoin, right? So however they do that, however they do that, whenever they do that, you know what I mean? We're witnessing these things happen, in my opinion.
Something we
So
have to keep in mind too is that the volume, although is up from maybe a couple weeks back, it's really not that high still. So, in what I think is happening today is we're seeing more of it's always a bull and a bear fight, and I think we're kind of just seeing we're not seeing the bulls actually take over. I think we're just seeing the bears back off a bit, which is pumping the price up a lot because I really don't see like a huge transition of a bunch of people changing their mind and going bullish on Bitcoin. I think people are
no,
just
when
pulling
the
off to the sidelines a little bit, stepping back and just
when the vol
watching.
when the volume is this low, though, it really is easier to make that price for the market, though,
Yeah.
right? So like you said, the market makers control this, and they put the price where they wanted to put the price for the end of February. And when that volume is really low, it's really easy for them to push that price
hmm
in either direction, whether they want it up or whether they want it
Well,
down,
in
right?
which
So,
case that would line up perfectly. They want to push the price up for the end of the month to make it look like we're going up so that
yeah.
a bunch of people FOMO in and then they spend all March selling off and taking profits. But things look good, but it's not quite exactly what we want to see. So got to
Mm-hmm,
keep that in
mm-hmm.
mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, and if we DCA, on that way down, and we were picking up Bitcoin in the 30K range, if you were
Yep.
picking up Bitcoin in the 30K range, I'm
Yep.
hoping that, if we can get somewhere around 48 to 50K, I'll probably, pull some profits.
Def-
If we look at the chart that I had, that green line that's at the bottom of that's actually my chart or my trend line from the larger time frames,
yeah.
and we wicked into that around that 35K range again, and that's kind of the bottom of this larger time frame trend that we've been trading sideways in for over a year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we're kind of close to the bottom of that still. So I mean, I don't like to buy above bottom personally. So yeah, like you said, we scooped up some 34K, not to buy any right now. So if you're watching this too, probably not looking to purchase anytime right now. We're looking to hold above these ranges moving into March. That's what we're hoping for. We're
Yeah. I'm
definitely
I'm not buying
holding
right
off on
now.
some buys. Yeah.
Personally, I'm not buying. I'm sitting on the sidelines. I'm going to watch this out for a bit because it just doesn't seem right to me. I don't see all the things lining up that I'd like to see. Um,
Hmm.
we were
I
talking,
mean, the fundamentals for Bitcoin are still super strong, and they will remain strong.
of
But
course, over the long
but
period
yeah,
of
like
time.
you said,
Over the
there's
long period of time, we're still looking bullish on Bitcoin. We still kind of think whether it's Bitcoin wins and everybody wins, or Bitcoin loses and everybody loses, kind of thing.
right.
Because obviously, the things that are going on in the world right now are just so chaotic. They're like, the way I see it is they're trying their absolute hardest to divide people because they are waking up very quickly to the fact that people are just sick of being pushed around. They don't want to take the
Hmm.
BS anymore. They just
Hmm.
want to live happy, live in peace. Everybody that I know, we're in BC here in Canada, and like I haven't met like an asshole in so long. Like everybody is so peaceful and I mean, I don't know, maybe
Hmm.
it's because
And so how does that chaos affect consumers? You know what I mean?
yeah,
If we fear corporate greed, jacking prices, we're mad at the corporations and not the government, right? If we are suffering from inflation and the prices are going up, then we feel like we need to hold on or make as much money as we can and just hold on to our money because things are so expensive, and I can't afford to buy assets. I can't afford to buy investments like Bitcoin or other stocks or things like
hmm
that, right? I think that's another part of it, and we need to kind of curb that fear, especially surrounding Bitcoin, and start taking
yeah,
a real serious look at holding some value in it.
yeah. It's been said time and time again, and it began hundreds of years ago. The separation between the wealthy and the poor is going to be the holding of assets. The beginning with land back in the late 1800s when land was
Hmm.
affordable.
Yeah,
Smart people would buy it, but
and it,
nowadays it's not affordable. But thank goodness we have things like Bitcoin because you can buy an asset with as little as $10, and you are now
yeah,
holding property. And
yeah. And the other thing is too is that let's getting onto the property topic, that we're going to see this transition of physical property to intangible, or physical assets to
digital,
intangible assets. So
digital,
property
just like
and
everything's
things
going.
like that. Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So when people realize that Bitcoin, the management cost or the maintenance cost, and the time spent and energy used to hold Bitcoin as property as opposed to large scale retail property is
That's when you're going to start seeing the panic buy.
the
It's going to
panic
happen.
buys, and you're going to see
It's going to
people
happen.
let go of large physical real estate, and they're
Just to
going to
put it
put
into
that money
perspective,
into
somebody that
digital property.
owns a large scale of hotel chains, let's see, they own a lot of property because they have a bunch of hotels, but they also have every single hotel manager they have to deal with. They have their board of representatives that they have to, agree with for every single thing. They have their investors that they have to make happy for every single decision that gets made. And when it comes to something as small as like buying toilet paper, which could be, a multi-million-dollar bill at the end of the year, it's an
Yeah,
absolute headache just to buy toilet paper. Okay, and then well, after all that, you might not even make anything for the year. You might not even make any money. Your business might make a bit more money just because of the inflation of the dollar because you're holding an asset, but really, like, you're working your absolute ass off and you're dealing with so many people and so many different headaches all the time.
yeah,
And it's just why would you do that? Why would you spend your time pulling your hair out for almost next to
yeah,
no profit and when you
yeah.
can just buy Bitcoin and just sit on the beach and watch your money grow, right?
Yeah.
Like, we know the
And I
dollar's
mean,
going.
the gains for Bitcoin are obviously going to diminish. We're seeing that in the cycles,
Of
you
course.
know. But on average, it's still around 100% a year, right? So,
Yeah.
um, I mean, the
And
risk to
it's
reward
still a
for
fairly new asset. Like, it's a very, very
yeah,
new asset, right? And if
and
anybody
it's
has a chart or available to any sort of chart, go back and look how oil
yeah,
started. Go back and look at the chart from 1860 when oil hit the market. Like, it was, I mean, it was only, I don't know out of the exact numbers, but it was skyrocket, drop. And then eventually, after about 60 or so years, it started to settle down, right? And since then, it's just been like this. It's had its dips.
yeah,
It's been going up, man. It's all in the charts. Anything that you want to know, if you're looking to try and figure out where we're going to be in 10 years, look where we were for the last 10 years. Look where we were for the last 100 years. Find an asset that hit the market 10 years ago and see where it is now. See where Amazon was 10 years ago and see where it is now. Anything that, like, it's pretty much plain as day. And I think the way we're going to go, in my opinion,
right.
we're potentially 50-50 at this point. It's either Bitcoin's going to win and we're all going to have a great future and everyone's going to have financial equality and everybody's going to be, taken care of because the financial system will be fair, or it's actually all going to crash and we're going to go back to barter system. And obviously, the people that are controlling you want you to go back to barter systems. So
Unfortunately, if everything crashed and we got to the point where we go back to the barter system, I don't even people unfortunately have reached a point of psychosis where that wouldn't be possible. There'd be too many people taking your things
yeah,
violently
it would.
for
Yeah,
that to really work out.
it would be
Unfortunately, and
madness.
that's
In
the
certain
chaotic
places in the
point that we've
world, of
hit.
course, it'd be
But
different. But
chaos has always in our history also bred change, and I believe that the change will be positive. I personally just can't see a fire sale of the internet and everything shutting down. Like, I just personally can't see it, and it's going to take time. But the creative disruption of things like Bitcoin will slowly erode the monetary system as
mhm,
we know it, and
yeah.
people will start to realize the value of decentralized finance and internet and
And
all
we
those
start to
things.
see
So,
people become less and less distracted every day because the reason why they do this stuff on the media all the time is to keep you away from the things they don't want you to see, right? And how many
mhm.
people, for instance, are just off Facebook or they're off Instagram, they're off all these things. I don't watch the news anymore. I'm TV free. Like, people are just getting sick of it. And the more this happens, the more they're going to start to realize the things that can actually benefit their life. Stop getting caught up in things that don't actually affect you. So many people get so stirred up and vent and rant on Facebook about things that literally don't even affect them whatsoever. And it's like, but why? Like, why are you wasting your time doing? Why are you getting sucked?
We're all just trying to save the
It's
world.
crazy, right? Like, you're getting sucked into something that doesn't even affect you whatsoever, and your opinion doesn't matter. Like, I'm sorry, but that's the truth. I mean, yeah, you spent fucking probably half an hour writing it, then you spend another half an hour rereading it like 10 times to make sure that your grammar was fine because you don't want a grammar Nazi to come get you. And then it's like, why? You just wasted half your day for a post that you're gonna get maybe 10 likes on. It's like, just
How
let it go.
what kind of value did that time
Exactly.
invested bring to your life,
And you're not even
right?
gonna get paid for that. Facebook's gonna get paid for that.
Yeah.
So it's like, just let it go. Let's try
Yeah.
to better each other's lives, right? That's the whole goal here. Dollar cost average into assets that you can afford. You know, cut the things out of your life that you don't need to buy. You know, you gotta just like we gotta try and you know, mental capacity has to be at some point has to be like, you know, controlled to the point where like ask yourself, are what you're buying, is that really necessary? What are you going to get out of this? Where is that going to put you in 2 weeks? Where is that item going to put you in a year? Is it going to be, are you still going to be using it?
Right.
But I think we're on the right track. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, $100 worth of Bitcoin yesterday would be worth 115 right now.
Exactly.
So like, I mean, the fundamentals are super strong. People are still strongly supporting Bitcoin at these levels.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised it didn't drop below 30 there, actually, when it was dropping. So the fundamentals are good. Bitcoin, it's here. It's here to stay. And everybody knows that.
Okay, on that note, looks like I got to go. So thank you guys all for joining in. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the next one.
Biggs and Boggs.